Good afternoon, everyone. This is Doris Kitts here at DPI, and welcome to our webinar on using online student course requests and course groups and screen setup in Power Scheduler. I want to be sure everyone can hear me. If you'll raise your hands if you can hear. Yep. Oh, wonderful. Oh, thank you, thank you. That's wonderful. All right, I'd like to also introduce the people in the room with me today. I have Tiffany Kinney. Hello. And we also have Jackie Utter here.
Hi.
And we are here today to answer your questions and to talk about how to set up your course groups and screen setups. Ask us all the questions that you need, because that's what we're here for. This presentation, if you'll notice, we have a Bitly link on our screen, and if you go there, you should be able to pull this presentation.
And I've also added it to the chat, so you should be able to see that if you go to the chat area of the webinar.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to be collecting questions and answers, so we're going to read the questions out loud so that we can kind of talk through them. Doris is going to be following through the screens and the slides. So unless you guys have any questions, we're going to get started.
All right. Thank you, Jackie.
Doesn't see the link.
All right. And we are recording this so that we can post it later, and I have started the recording as of right now. All right. So the goal of this session is to verify that setup is complete, to create scheduling request screens within Power Scheduler. We're going to show you and talk about creating course groups for use in scheduling request screens. And we want you to understand the difference between the three types of request types. Understand the use of alternates and the request screen parameters, and understand the activation and use of the screens. So if everyone is ready, we shall begin. All right, so first things first. You must create a scenario in Power Scheduler. And before you create your, just a little note, before scenarios are created, you will create your years and terms on the live side of Power School, then go to Power Scheduler and set up your scenario. Be sure that you have established your course catalog within Power Scheduler, and also be sure that you've gone back and associated your course catalog with your scenario. This is a print screen of what a scenario looks like. I hope this is clear to everyone. What we do is, this particular one is a build and load. We've gone in and given a build name. Normally they use the year, but I do suggest using initials or some type of little information, because you may create more than one scenario. We've also gone in and created our terms and our periods and the numbers of days. Now, when you first create your scenario, you will not connect your course catalog, and that is within the directions of pre-scheduling. Once you've created your scenario, you go out and create a course catalog, then you come back here and attach it. Okay? Now, on the scenario note, just to let you know, for rising transition students, that's your 8th to 9th or your 5th to 6th, scenarios must be established at their home school for those students to be able to access the request screen. So let me tell you that in layman's terms, okay? In other words, your incoming 9th graders are at the middle school right now, but the middle school's not going to use their Power Scheduler. If you want those students to use your course request screens, that middle school must have set up a scenario. They do not have to use the scenario / Power Scheduler, but they must have one set up. Okay? Course group. What is that? You hear us talking about it, so let's talk about what that is. A course group is a collection of courses that will be presented to students on a course request screens. In other words, you're going to create a list. You're going to say this list of courses is part of this particular course group. We're going to set up a single requirement, a multi-requirement, or we're going to tell them they're going to take it. They have the choice of looking at it or not realizing, but they're going to take it regardless. So anyway, let's move on, and we'll show you more of these later on. But I want to tell you there is a lot of work in setting up course groups. I'm not going to lie to you when you first do it. It's a lot of work. But good news is in 9-2 and higher of power schools, course groups are year independent and can be reused year to year. As soon as you set up your scenario for the next year's scheduling, you'll see your course groups in your request screen. Do we have a question, Jackie?
Nope, we're good.
All right, wonderful. So let's create course groups. Okay, so what I'd like to do, I thought I'd like to go out to Power Scheduler and show you what a course group actually looks like. It's going to be at the top of your screen, and my screen is really odd here. It's in the upper left corner, but you guys can see it. I can't. Oh, I'm good if you guys can see it. So I've gone to course groups. Now this particular school, and this is even though you know the name of the school, please understand all the data has been masked here. They've gone in and set up course group names. And the reason they put names in this is like, okay, like 10th grade math. These are the selections of math courses that they want this student to take. They've gone in and pulled in all of the course catalog, and as they go down, they've gone in and checked courses that they know that are going to be part of this particular 10th grade elective, social studies elective. Let me talk about the screen just a little bit. When you go to this screen first, I would like to suggest everyone, when you're setting up your course groups, click current catalog first. Because what happens if you don't click current catalog, if you put in the name and then go down and click it in the order that you come to it, you lose your name of your course group. That's very aggravating. About the 5th or 6th time you do that, you'll remember not to do that. Now, the type is going to be scheduling. Now, are you nice and are you setting up this course group for the entire LEA for all your high schools? For all your schools, you can. Or you can just set it up for your one school. I would suggest just doing your one school unless you're a small LEA that's only 2 high schools. So we've set this up for this one particular school. And then we would go in and check the courses that would be pertaining to this particular course group. And when we submit it, and we've set up that course group. Now let me show you in making a new one. There's a couple of really picky things, you know how things can be. Come on, wake up. Pardon me. You're there. There it is. Okay. Remember what I said. I'm going to hit. Let me show you why. I'm going to just type in hello. And now I'm going to go down here and hit court and catalog. Went away. All right. So I'm going to do an end result. It's scheduling only for this particular high school. Now, those of us who learn to type using these things called typewriters, you know, we sit there and type, and then we hit space bar at the end of a word. It's just what we were taught in typing class. It's a bad thing to do here, because what happens is you create a trailing space. And in computer language, that's a character. If you create a trailing space here, you may not see this course group on your screen request. Okay? Just be careful not to create a trailing space. And then I would go down in here and choose my courses. I'm just going to put a few here. They don't mean much to me here, but they would mean a lot to you. So that is how we set up our course groups. Let me give you a little hint. If all your electives are going to be equally ready for all grade levels, why don't you just set up one group called electives? Hey, by the way, do you know that same group could also be alternates as well. Okay, I can use the same course group of alternates for all my grade levels. Now, it wouldn't be wise in my 9th grade English classes to have all my Englishes together, but something that would go together, that would be a great way to group them. All right, how are we on questions and understanding?
We're good. We just had a little comment about your typewriter days, and she goes, you had the space bar twice.
Thank you. Oh, no, that's after a period.
That's after, yes, correct.
Showing our age here now,
Yes.
but that's all right.
It explains a lot.
It does. There we go. Okay, next screen. And then our PowerPoint, guys, I would not leave you off, leave you floundering. If you notice, we have all our directions here. But those who know me know I'm not a big fan of sticking to a PowerPoint very long. If you took bets, well, you got to share your money. All right, seriously. Now, we create course groups one by one. A different group is needed for each set of courses you wish to present to students. Remember, different options mean different groups. I like this example that was given, the 9th grade English. You might have 9th grade science and 9th grade electives. Okay. Next, now we've set up all these course groups, and guys, I'm not expecting this to be quick. If you're setting up those course groups, you want to be very meticulous in going in there and clicking the courses that should be attached to those screens. All right, so now we're at a create request screens. This is so much fun. If you have someone who knows HTML, they can really fancy this up. Request screens are divided by grade level. Rising students go into the grade that they are going into, and that is controlled by next year grade. And always remember, in this particular functionality, we're creating for the masses, and we'll adjust for the individuals. For instance, you have honors English. There's a handful of students that may take that higher level of English in 9th grade. So that may be one that you're going to go in and give them the course request of an honors English. Okay? All right, so now let's create course request screens. So we're going to go up in that upper left and click Screen Setup. And by the way, remember we told you they were by grade level, so we're going to click onto a grade to edit. Let me bring up the screen in PowerSchool. Okay. All right, so now we're in our course request screen, our screen setup. There we go. So I'm going to click onto my 9th grade so we can talk about a screen. Oh, I like this one. Okay. So in this particular screen setup, now that we have gone to PowerSchool 9, I believe it was, we now luckily have 2 buttons. This is a wonderful thing about these screen setups. If we click one, sorry, I'm right-clicking, clicking wrong one. By clicking the PowerSchool admin portal, I am only going to have the screens available to the admins within PowerSchool, such as my guidance counselors. If I want the parent portal to be active, I would check this box here. This would allow the student and parent portal to become active and allow the 9th graders, incoming 9th graders, to see their course groups that they can choose from. Some schools, I know charter schools, are particularly fond of bringing in students as a grade level into their lab. So I could pull up my 9th graders, click here for this screen setup, and let it be available for my 9th grade students today and tomorrow, and then go in at the end of the day tomorrow and uncheck that button, keeping them from viewing any more course requests or changing any of their course requests. This particular school, I'm really pleased with this, has gone in and added a message that can be viewed when the students go into their screens. I was going to see what we can see by pulling it up. Welcome to the LNHS 2016-17 That's kind of suspicious, just a little bit. Let's go down a little more. Registration. For registrations resources, go to, and they've given us a link, and they've given us a lot of really wonderful information for year 2016, 2017. That's wonderful, except I'm in years 2017, 2018. So this point that I'm making here is that you must be mindful. When you put in years and dates in these screen setup, you have to go in year to year and update those. While they come through, they're not going to change something that you have put in. So if I've used my course groups that I've called them 16, 17 English, guys, my course groups are going to be called 16, 17, 9th grade English. Okay. All right, so here we go. That's pretty, isn't it? But just be mindful of those dates. All right. My screens are really funky here. Okay, I'm going to have to figure out how to go back. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulty here. Oops. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how to get you back.
Sorry, guys. My computer has...
There we go. Your mouse is over on the left-hand side, so it's trying to bookmark it. Click on the X next to bookmarks.
Oh, I see it. Yes. There you go.
But now...
See, well, let me...
Won't let you go back.
Uh-uh.
Oh, you have to go to the other tab. There's a tab to your left.
Guys, what's happening is my computer is not allowing me to see what I need to
Go
see.
down just to... Can you see it from here? So move your mouse. Oh, wait a minute. Almost. Go to the black button. There we go. Yay!
I love Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. Guys, it's not a webinar if we don't have technical difficulties, okay? Now, moving on. All right, so the next little section is the number of credit hours each student must submit, excluding alternate requests. So that means that it's not counting my alternates, okay? All right, now, the number of credits. So if I was in middle school, my minimum would be 0 and my maximum would be 0 because we don't have credits in middle school. Now, at a high school, what's the smallest amount of credits that a student may put in requests for? We're probably going to say 8, but be mindful of your year-long courses because that makes it 7. All right. Now, what's the most they can take? This particular school has an 8.5. I don't want to know about the 5. Don't want to know about it. It's probably going to be 8 to 8 for most of you, which means they will not be able to get out of the parent portal making their selections until they have met the minimum of 8. All right, so now we have 3 types of requests. The first one is a new single course requirement. Okay. So what we'll do is we would name this particular one, whatever we're going to call it, a single course requirement. I know. We would give it directions. And now we're going to use our list to find what we want our students to choose from for this particular course selection. Now, let's actually make it better. Okay. Must select one or can leave blank. So can a student leave this blank? Possibly. Now, if you would like for the students to get a message when they make the wrong choice, maybe they make 2, they could actually go in here. You could have in here, must select 1 only. And when this would be a display message when they make an error. But you can leave it blank and a generic one would come up. The request type, this is very important, guys. if you're using alternates and electives. A required course is going to be your course, like, I'll just use your reading, writing, arithmetic. Your elective is your, your fun course is something that you're taking that's not that you don't have to have. But let's say if I don't get into chemistry, maybe because it was marked as an elective request for me, which I'm not sure why chemistry would be, but if I had an alternate such as basket weaving, my alternate, if my chemistry was marked with an E and my basket weaving was marked with an E and an A, if I couldn't get into my chemistry, it would actually put me into basket weaving if available. So this is very must have on this particular type of request to use them. The number of requests to generate. This is typically nothing that we in North Carolina would use. It is where, for instance, if I put in one request for PE, give me 2 requests. If I put in one request for band, give me 2 requests. It just duplicates my number of requests and would put me into that course twice, actually, in 2 different sections, okay? And how do I want this to display in order? And that would be what I would submit, where I would do that, and I would hit submit. All right, any questions so far?
No, just some funny comments.
Oh, good. Thank you for your help, guys. I know it's really a pain when I'm having some issues here. All right. Grade-specific requirement for course request. This particular one is, let me go back. I just hit a button. This is the new multi-course requirement. So, guess what? I can go in here and choose, this maybe be my electives. I'm going to choose my 9th grade elective, English elective. Now, in my English, what is the most I can select? I can select 1, but I could probably go up to 3 if I wanted. I could allow students to choose 3 different English electives, whatever I have chosen to put in that course group. Remember, you're dictating the courses they're going to choose. Again, we can put in the message, really hit the right button if you want, or just let it put a generic one in. Again, be sure you make them elective, alternate, or required. Number of requests, we're going to keep it 1, and then we're going to put the sort order, and we'll click submit, and we will keep that particular requirement. New core requirement. This one means I'm going to let you select from A, B, and C, and you're going to select courses A, B, and C, and I'm going to put A, B, C in your schedule because you must take this course. Is basically what this is. For you know how those 9th graders have to take PE? Well, I could set up a course group called PE and just basically set this in here for 9th graders, choosing that list of PE because that PE will only have 1 course in it. I could put 2, but let's just say we're doing PE right now, and this would be my 1. Maybe they have to take biology. I could throw biology in there as well. I see this great at middle schools because you got to have your English, you got to have your science, you got to have your social studies. Maybe this would be a great way to throw them in for your middle schools. All right? How are we on question-wise, Jackie?
You have 1.
All right.
Will this be covered at CCES in the Power Scheduler session, and is a user manual on the horizon?
All right. If you're talking about the day and a half class that I'm doing with Jackie and Justin, I believe, yes, we will cover this some, absolutely. Tiffany, do we have a side class on this one? Do you know?
I do not think we do this year, but we can include this in one of our scheduling courses. But I do not think we have a separate one this year.
And I'm going to fess up about my PowerPoint. This PowerPoint actually was from last year's symposium from Rob Dietrich. It's so good. Let's be honest, he's very good.
Yep.
Thank you if you're listening. So I took it and I adjusted it just a teeny tiny. But and we do have it. We will post this and you can get this.
Absolutely.
But yes. And as far as the user guide, I'm going to have to do some digging.
I know we have a QRD-ish Well, I don't know what we have actually.
Yeah, I know. This year we have found that a lot of people who have been doing just loads have said, well, my principal wants us to do builds. They want us to use the screens request for the students. And I think I've heard from about 4 or 5 people, so we realized we had a need for this webinar.
Right.
And that was why it's kind of we let you know it's such a short notice because we realized we had a hole, we had a gap, huge gap. Okay, so now we've talked about these course request screens. Okay, now let me put my PowerPoint back. Oh yeah, and again, the checkbox is there to help you make this available or not. On the administrative side, the guidance counselors or whoever does the course request screen can go on the live side, pull up the student schedule setup, and go in and actually, select modify future requests, I think is what it's called, modify future requests. My mind just went blank for a moment. Modify future requests and actually see those same screens. The first year around, all of you have heard me say this, I would encourage people, set these screens up. It's fun, just do it, try it. It's a little work, but set it up. Oh, but our parents aren't going to do it. Well, guidance counselors are going to do it. They'll love you for this. And I had people come back to me the next year saying, my guidance counselors love me. I actually had a few help me down at the symposium the next year and say, thank you. They liked it. It really helps their work. And you've seen it goes from year to year to year. We talked about now HTML is what you're going to put your messages in. We talked a lot about the minimum, maximum. Students will not be able to submit the request, remember, unless the total for the requested hours is in this range. It can be the same number, and it will not be looking at your alternates, because remember, alternates are something they may not get. They're going to get 8 courses. That's what they're going to get, 8 hours filled, or 8 holes, so to speak. Course requirement, links to create the course requirement options for student. Each link opens the respective requirement type creation screen. Remember, your single allows the students to select one course. They may have 30 courses showing, they're going to get to choose one course. My multi-course allows me to select more than one course as a student. And it will, and you really should set it for at least 2 courses if you're going to use a multi-course. But you can do 1 to infinity, so to speak. And on your core requirement, this means I'm giving you this course to a student. It cannot be unselected by a student.
Okay. Can I interrupt you for a sec?
Absolutely.
Okay, we are load only. Now they want the request screens. Must have been in a principal's webinar. Only 394 students. Do you think it's worth all the setup work?
What are you guys thinking here?
I'd say yes.
Yeah. See, I love bells and whistles, so I'm always going to say yes. Now, do you need to go, if you're not going to open it up to the parents, if you are going to be using it within the school, don't go in there and make it fancy. I would not put all those fancy HTMLs and messages in there. I'd go in there and make it very simple for them to go in there and select those courses.
Okay, one more. Okay, we have a comment. I've used the same manual for the last 3 years. The only thing that's changed was some page numbers. So we'll go in and find it and see. Thanks for that. And then we have, is it necessary to enter alternates? Can students select 8 only?
Great question. Absolutely. Some schools don't want to use alternates. So absolutely you can. Excuse me.
Am I confused that we cannot use course request screens if we load in, let me speak first in English. Am I confused that we cannot use course request screens if we load and tweak?
Okay, let me answer. A little confused, yes. When you load, you're still loading your students based on their course request. Remember, when you build, and load. You're building a schedule and loading your students. You're loading your students based on their course requests. So you have to put those course requests in somehow. So this is for putting in student course requests. Does that help clear up your confusion? I'm glad you let us know that you were confused. That's what we're here for, to help with that. Oh, and guys, I want to let you know that Tessa has joined us from the support desk. She's in the room as well.
All right, I think we're good for the moment.
Okay. All right.
We have a comment that says, I say yes, especially since it can be used year after year. So the comment is, they thought it was worth it as well.
Well, once you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
We used to have to go in a couple of years ago, and you would actually have to do it in DDA, to copy them from year to year. And a lot of times, the support desk and myself would work together and get those done for people who needed them. Okay? And again, as you can see, we have really, in our prior report presentation, well, I've showed everything that you could possibly need to go back to and use this as a great QRD, I think. Rob did a great job. Again, this is our multi-course one. We talked a little bit about, remember to put in your request type, how many courses can be selected, also, what is my course group?
We have a very good question.
Okay.
And can this be used effectively in a middle school with quarter, semester, and year-long classes?
It can be, yes. And remember that you have no credit, so therefore you're going to be 0 to 0. Okay? And you may find particularly good use of those core classes that you got to have.
Right.
Because you know they're going to have English. You know they're going to have that math. You're going to have that small group that is going to have, I almost said algebra, that's going to have the NC Math 1.
Again.
So, you have those. So, I think you can. What about you? What's your...
Can we go back to that screen where we're doing a multi or a single course requirement?
Absolutely.
Because when you were telling her it was 1-to-1, I think that's
a single course.
So we'll just pretend that we are in a middle school. So this says, back where you were is good. It doesn't matter. This is fine too.
Oh, okay. No.
The number of, there you go, minimum and maximum.
Right here.
So this says, actually on the screen, number of credit hours. So because they're not.
Because high schools are the only ones who have credit.
Right. So is there a way that it could be scheduling credits and not earned credits?
Seems like you want to do almost like points or something so we could figure a way around that. I agree. They could make this a tiny bit better.
All right, so we have to put 0, 0 here if we're middle school.
Correct.
So that means that they're just going in and choosing whatever they want.
I think where you're going to have the issue is going to be the multi-course requirement.
Right.
Because they can go in and click.
Yeah.
Our core and our single pretty much dictates. You're going to... A single course, I'm going to give you a whole lot to choose from, but you're going to choose one. And my core is going to say, look what you got.
Yeah.
Here you go. And I'm going to smack you in the face with it. But my multi is going to be my issue. Okay? And if anyone has a thought on this, I am open for suggestions. I like that thought-provoking question. Okay, and don't forget about after your groups have been added, I would do the preview of the screens before opening to a student. The first year that we did this, the support desk got a call at 5 minutes till 5. They were ninth graders coming in, and people couldn't see the screens. By the way, that particular one was middle school, didn't have a scenario set up. But we learned real fast that you have to have the scenario at the middle school. So please If you're having a group of boys and girls come in the evening, be sure before the support desk closes that they can see the screens, okay? Tessa smiled at me. All right. Complete the screens for each grade that will register online. Coordinate your registration process and ensure that quality course requests are generated. And it's in red for a reason. Course requests are one of the most important pieces of the scheduling process. Without course requests, who are you going to put in the classes for the teachers?
Right. We don't know how many you need. We don't know what they're taking. We just have no master schedule.
That's right. We don't know.
And for those of you that are doing this for the first time, you may only want to do it for maybe just your seniors, just to try one for one grade level, just to see how it works. You don't have to do the whole school. You can just do one subset of kids by grade level.
Of course, they're going to get mad because once that one set does, they're going to go, but I like this.
I know.
This is really fun. It really is one of the best bells and whistles, I think, of scheduler that they have. I think it's a great tool, and I hope you use this. Now, guys, in every webinar for scheduling, we do want to remind you that if you use the mass enroll course request. Thank you. Mass enroll course request functionality, your incoming ninth graders will be attached to the wrong school. They will be attached to the middle school, their school ID, even though you have them set to the right school. You did it correctly. Power Scheduler has a bug in it. Until we go to 11, it will continue. So after you work a little bit on course request, if you use that functionality of mass enrolling, that's a student function, pardon me. Let me pull up my functions. This mass add request right here, the middle school students or the incoming elementary to middle, for some reason there's a bug and it's creating the wrong school ID. So periodically, come in here under Functions and Power Scheduler. Go to, in the R's, they're alphabetical, Resolve Invalid Requests. This is our training database, and this is really a good one to show you. It takes a minute because we got almost 3,000 invalid requests at this particular school. And if you notice, it's kids, a lot of them are coming from the middle school because of the invalid school. A lot of my invalid schools are, well, I have one invalid school on this particular one too. What I would do to fix my schools is I'm going to check Gideon Book and Robin Disney, and I'm going to go to the bottom of my screen. I can delete the request, but I don't want to do that because that was true. They came into my school and made my choices. I could change schools. If I'm a early college, I may want to use this because I can change those course requests from the high school to the early college by clicking on to change school. But and that is what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change schools. It's loaded and it comes back and it says invalid schools have been successfully changed. So now, if you notice, those students are no longer shown as an invalid student.
Invalid school, yeah.
Thank you, invalid school.
And the high school will see this, right?
The high school will see that.
Or the middle school.
For the middle school, absolutely. Because their next, thank you, that's a great question, Tessa. They would go from their middle school, and they have been pointed, their next school is the high school. But there's a bug within 10 that causes this.
Okay, so speaking about all of this stuff together, the scenario that the middle school has to have in Power Scheduler, can you give me an idea of what I need to request them to set up?
All right, now, I'm going to give you two answers. The first answer is the middle school, if the middle school is not going to use Power Scheduler at all, I would go in and set up the automatic scheduler. I would go full year, 1 period, 1 day. Everything would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 because I'm not using it. I don't care. and I would continue and submit it, and up to the point where I set my scheduling year, basically up through about step 4 or 5 of our handout. Now, if my middle school is using it, set it up correctly. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
How do we, I see someone asking how to recover the invalid.
How do we resolve the invalid course?
Oh, thank you for asking that question. Let me show you under functions. There's a couple of ways to do this, but I'm not impressed with this one, so I'm going to show you the bells and whistles I like right now. The resolve invalid request. All right, got to load. So I'm going to, let's just check our little Aladdin here, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to change course. And it's going to come back to me and show me, oh, I don't have many courses here. This training database, oh, you know what, I probably don't have any in here. All right. I would have my courses here that I could choose from. Again, this is a training database, and I don't have courses evidently in my catalog right here. This would come out, and it would list all of your current courses catalog in your catalog, and you would select it, and when it comes, you would submit it, and then submit the bottom of the next screen, and it would allow you to change the number. And it works beautifully. I have used it. Again, this is just the training database. Does that help?
Hold on.
I know, you're typing. Wendy said, yes, that helped.
Okay, we do have another one. Our school has an elementary school, middle school, and a high school. The middle school and high school want to use this. Will the ES have to be set with the automatic setup 111?
Yes. So
Yes.
Is this a charter school? Are you a one school?
All right.
If you are,
This,
yes.
yes.
okay, she's about the 4th person to ask me this question. There is a way that you can build what you need, and then what we would do is build, I'll give you a high level of what we're going to do. You would go in and you would build this master that you want to build. Then for your elementary schools, we could build it out and bring it into Power Scheduler and add it to your master. We can work together.
Well, I think is that what she's asking? She wants to use the online course request.
Oh, you can use those for anyone.
So,
Does she need to set up her elementary school though?
Oh,
automatic.
you have,
Yes.
you're a K-12 school though. So,
Yes.
are you K-12 or do you have an elementary separate from your middle, separate from your high? Yeah, they're K-12.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my first answer stands. Thank you.
Then you
What was your
need,
first answer?
yeah, you need to come back with that again then.
Okay, that is where we're going to have to, because they're the same database.
So how do they use the
You would
course requests?
you would use the course request for the grade levels that's using it. You would build for your middle high school, and that's what we're saying. And then we would take the elementary school and we would take their sections and add it to the scheduler once we're done.
So there's nothing for her to do as far as creating a scenario, because she has one.
Right, she just needs a scenario, and she needs to set up her course groups for the students who are
Just
using
for
them.
the middle and high.
Correct,
She has nothing to do for the elementary kids if she's not going to use that
correct.
particular piece.
That is correct.
Okay. Let's see if I can write that now.
Okay. Oh, and
Oh,
separate campus.
separate
Oh,
campus.
ouch. That makes it tough, but it's still the same database.
Yes, probably, yeah, still all.
Unfortunately, charters
Okay.
have that issue to deal with. It's a tough issue. It's a tough one. Okay, any other questions, guys? We're doing really well. I hope everyone is into the scheduling part now, or doing okay. When's our next Q&A for scheduling? I don't know that I remember it on top of my head.
I think we
We
have,
did 3.
we did 3.
Oh, we've done 3, okay.
So I would encourage you to go back and look at those recordings. I need to post yesterday's recording, but the other ones are already posted on the NCSIS website. But we also have some other opportunities to attend while we're waiting for these questions to come in. This is Tiffany speaking. We have some other opportunities to get some scheduling help and learn, especially if you're new to Power Scheduler, and that's at our CCES conference, which is March 11th through the 15th. I have put a link in your chat just in case you are not aware of our Connecting Communities of Education Stakeholders conference coming very soon. I know.
What was it called again?
Don't ask me to say that again.
AKA symposium.
Yeah. So what we've done, you guys, a lot of you are aware of the home-based symposium that we had for years, and we have now merged with another conference, CCSA, and now we're CCES for short. So we would love to see you there, and there's going to be a day-and-a-half scheduling session taught by Doris and Jackie, and I think she mentioned that earlier, but there's also some other courses that you may be interested in, and that would be, there's Visual Scheduler, there's Should I Build, Should I Load, there is elementary scheduling there, and there is copying and tweaking your schedule as well. So we would love to see you there, among other Power School offerings throughout the entire conference. And it's a full day Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with the post-conference on Thursday.
Okay, we do have a question regarding CCES. Is the day-and-a-half session drop-in, or are you in it for the whole time?
So it can be a drop-in. There is no pre-registering either. We've had that question come up as well. So you do not pre-register for any of the sessions at the conference unless you plan to attend the post-conference, and that's on Thursday. That's an additional fee if you attend the post-conference on Thursday. But it is a session where you just can drop in. However, it will be a working session for a day and a half. And it is limited to the first 75 people or 75 bodies in that room, just because, well, we can't have any more than that.
Yeah.
So if you are scheduling and you want to come
Absolutely.
in and sit and work, and it is going to be some lectures,
Absolutely.
and you need to bring your
Bring your own.
can't say it enough.
Bring your own device. Yes, we have no laptops to loan out, so it is a working session, also a presentation. So prepare to bring your questions as well.
That's right, and you can sit together. We'll have tables, as I understand it,
Yes.
in the room,
It'll be set up classroom style, so you will have tables to put your devices on.
and we'll be on the second floor. So Jackie and I are looking forward to seeing
I
you.
love this next.
And the second floor is a little hard to get to, so
Good one, Connie. Good one, Connie. We are working on that.
Will they have enough power outlets for everyone?
I never thought of that question. Good one.
Yeah.
We have
Good one.
requested, we will also make sure that Doris and Jackie bring some power reels for that session, especially because it's working. But we have also requested for extra power, but that was a great question.
Thank you for that question. I had not even thought of that one. I may be sending an SOS to Tiffany.
Okay, so what steps need to be done prior to taking that day-and-a-half session?
Decisions have to be made. You have to, at that point, know what you're doing. Are you building and loading? Are you loading? You may not know how many teachers for sure, but a guesstimate of how many teachers you have, what the teachers are going to be teaching. You need to be prepared, like for our workshops that we did up until this year. We are doing a day and a half, and we want to put all this into it and get you going. If you are already building or loading and you just want to come in and help get some little guidance, we're good with that. My feelings do not get hurt if you walk out. I'm old enough to not let that bother me anymore.
Is the hotel adding additional APs to support all those devices?
are you talking about, just the internet? Maybe internet
I don't know what AP, I don't know what
in the past?
AP is mean.
access points. There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
I know it has to be.
Oh, all right, sorry.
Good day.
Yeah. Oh my. I'm gonna blame that on new mommy brain there. So we don't anticipate any issues. They were, gosh, last year they were supposed to, not even last year, the year before, they had told us that they had beefed up their access points, but we shouldn't have a problem because we are paying for that to be up and running and be able to handle the bandwidth, because this is a larger conference too, and we have more people connected. So we are.
That's the good thing about going in with another group.
Yes.
Because we can find money.
Yes. Yes. So yep, all phones, iPads, laptops. We are working really hard for that to not be an issue this year. But great question. Any other scheduling questions or online course request questions? And I'm sure I will take any of the conference questions as well.
But we're all looking forward to the conference, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone.
And pay attention to our training calendar as well. So make sure you're going out to the SIS website to see all the upcoming trainings we have, and we'll be adding more for spring and summer here shortly, or webinars and face-to-face training.
Awesome sauce.
All right.
Any other questions?
All right.
Well, this group is
I think we're good.
group.
So this will be, we have recorded it, so it will be posted onto the NCSIS site, as was said before. And the PowerPoint, I believe, is already there.
It is.
So you can take a look at that in addition to listening.
All right, everyone. We do thank you for your time this afternoon, and hope you have a great afternoon. And I am looking so forward to seeing you all in March. See you then.
Bye.